I'm Simon Graham, currently General Manager of Dungannon Swifts, and I've been here for my sins or troubles for 22 years. It started when some of my work colleagues, in fact my boss at work, who was secretary of the club, and a work colleague who was chairman of the club, that's Sir Earl Robinson, who was my boss, David Holmes, who was then the chairman, said, come down and help us at the club. My first job was doing stadium announcements, and then I was brought onto the committee, and about 4 weeks after being brought onto the committee, my boss at the time, Sir Earl, who was secretary, said, I'm quitting being secretary, Simon's going to do it. And because he was my boss, I kind of felt I can't say no, so I ended up then being secretary for probably about 18 years, and with the evolution of the field stuff, then became general manager this last sort of 2 or 3 years. A slight change of title, but most of the same responsibilities. Thankfully Martin, our secretary, came in and sort of split the burden a wee bit in terms of doing stuff, so that's how that evolution took place. Back in the day, and people will not mind me saying this, when I first arrived, it was a lot more low-key, and one of the biggest things that were talked about in the boardroom was who was bringing what sandwiches for the half-time, boardroom refreshments back in the day. But obviously football, as we all know, has moved on in terms of what the league wants to do itself, in terms of what is now required in UEFA standards and those. We obviously, the biggest change over this last few years has been we went from a grass pitch to 3G pitch, which we really needed to do. We're always known as a community club, so going 3G has meant that we were able to offer New Mills, who play in the Mid-Ulster Intermediate A at the minute, a ground that they can use, and also we formed a partnership last year with Mid-Ulster Ladies, allowing them to play here. So it's a full community effort. We're about helping people. That's probably the biggest change. Highs and lows in terms of the club, there've been many. We've been involved in a couple of relegation scraps and relegation playoffs. We've also played in Europe twice, in the Intertoto Cup back in the day, which now would probably be the Conference League, and after finishing runners-up in the Irish Cup, we played in the UEFA Cup as well, so those were massive highs. Obviously winning the Niffle League Cup as the first major trophy that the club won was just absolutely massive, and obviously where we are currently on the journey that we're on has been a pleasantly surprising season. So yeah, lots of highs, lots of lows. That's football. That's football in general, and it means so much to so many people. You see all, especially with our younger supporters, and you see the delight in their faces when they're coming to win, lose or draw. They're here. It's an event. They're mixing with their mates. People forget that we're a community club. We're here for the community, and it's just great to see kids here enjoying themselves. Maybe being a mascot, maybe someone that you've seen standing down there eventually out playing in the park, or becoming a volunteer and doing stewarding or taking over admin or whatever. It's football. Was it in the, don't know if I can mention it, but the Ted Lasso, Danny Rojas, football is life. I think that sums it up.